Mr. Lobo here at Times Square for the Sleepless Knights podcast. We are ready to light up our jumbo scoreboard. As you know, our primary goal is 1,074 listeners on Patreon. And thanks to your monthly support, our total number of patrons comes to... maybe the sign's broken.
Maybe they don't know that you can pledge monthly now. I mean, for only $4 a month, you can support 4 episodes of the show.
And $8 a month gets you segment 5, a whole extra show segment made just for them. And we have a whole bunch of items in tiered plan, including the producer credits and sticker club and more.
Patrons also get to hear the show a week ahead of everyone else.
People, as you know, the Sleepless Knights podcast, hosted by Mr. Lobo of Cinema Insomnia and that pantsless producer over here, Paul Sanders of BESTOW TV, is weird, fun, experimental, obtuse, and thought-provoking. If quality programs mean something to each of you and you enjoy being a fly on the wall for our 3 a.m. conversations, please support the show monthly on Patreon. Take out your phones right now. Patreon.com/sleeplessnightspodcast for $4 or more a month and help us reach our goal. That's patreon.com/SLEEPLESKNIGHTS Now that's only one D in podcast, even though we still emphasize the I.
Hey, where's everyone going?
They're all going home to sign up with us on Patreon.
Yeah, sure.
Miss Mittens Kong, you found my heartfelt holiday poem, but I noticed you changed a few lines. You know, you really should stick to the script, but I am glad that you found it. You know, it's Easter too, so maybe I'll just read this same thing later when we need a heartfelt speech. But well, Miss Mittens Kong, I understand. I know that you were of a different faith than Mr. Lobo, so I guess you had to make some adjustments. I hope you don't mind. I was thinking that maybe you could look for the Easter eggs that Mr. Lobo has hidden. Now, I know, again, that that's not a holiday that you celebrate, but these eggs are kosher. So I think it would be all right. with the guy upstairs if you were to look for some of these non-denominational Easter eggs. Is that all right with you, Miss Mittens Collin? Yes. I'll give you a little bit of hint. I didn't put any outside, so all of them are in the house. So I guess why don't you start on the way far side of the house and sort of peek in the windows there and look for him over there, and then I'm going to see if Abacus can bring up Paul from the space satellite, and we can start working on our podcast. All right, Miss Mittens Kong. All right, hippity hoppity, there she goes. Miss Mittens Kong is looking for her non-denominational Easter eggs, and Abacus is locked on to the microwave signal from the deep space, bouncing it off the Black Knight satellite, and hopefully getting Paul's space pod. Paul, are you reading me?
What? Hello?
This is Paul in outer space.
No,
right?
no, my car. I don't need a warranty on my car. I don't even have a car. I'm like not even anywhere near a vehicle. I don't need an extended warranty.
Did I wake you up?
Recently?
Right now. Am I waking you up? Is this a bad time?
Well, I don't want you to call me back. I don't need a car warranty. I'm good.
I'm not giving you
I'm
a
tired
car.
of you calling me 50 times in a day.
I haven't been
First you call me from
and
Texas, then you call me from like PA, and then you call me from like California, then you call me from like Moon, and no, I don't need the warranty. I'm good.
I've been getting a lot of calls too. You know what I think it is? I think it's because it's April Fool's Day. I think that we're getting prank phone calls. I got one earlier, and I got a few actually. One of them was asking if I had Dr. Pepper in a bottle. I had another one asking for Prince Albert in a can. I had a third one asking if I had 16-pound balls. All right. Very funny. I do have 16-pound balls, and I've made an appointment to see my doctor next week.
Good. I'm glad you're mysterious stranger who's trying to sell me something over the phone. You sound pretty adamant about sharing your personal details. We should maybe record a segment documenting this. Hold on a second. Let me hit the record button.
It's time now for the show to begin. Thank you. Have a very pleasant evening.
You're not dreaming. You're listening to the Sleepless Knights podcast.
Oh, Mr. Lobo, that's you. Why'd you say
right.
so?
It's the Easter Fool edition.
Well, wait a minute, Mr. Lobo. Why are you selling car warranty stuff?
I am not selling. I'm not selling car warranty stuff. I can't sell. I can't even sell this podcast. How could I sell anything else?
True.
All right. So Miss Mittens Kong is out looking for non-denominational Easter eggs. She's kind of pulling at the foundation of the east side of the building right now, looking for Easter eggs. I thought that during this time I could call you and we could talk about holiday traditions. I think that, we're both kind of comedy snobs, right? We're both kind of people who enjoy humor, like to make jokes. Some of them are funny. I think this
majority
might be
of them are not.
Yeah, I think this might be an opportunity for us to talk about what they call practical jokes. I've never understood that term. Practical.
Is it practically a joke?
Impractical, right? It seems like they're very impractical.
Are you allowed to say that? I'm sure that's a copyrighted term now.
Impractical joke is copyrighted.
Impractical
Someone's got that?
Jokers, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a TV show.
Oh, is that a show?
Yeah, it's a TV show that actually features a couple podcasters, believe it or not.
Oh, boy. I know.
They'll give anybody a TV show.
Yeah, they'll give anybody a podcast.
Apparently.
The present company included. Yeah, I never understood like a lot of those things. I thought were incredibly cruel. Like you have your friends over, And then they think, okay, I finally get a friend over to my house. How can I humiliate them? And usually the thing is like, painting your fingernails or your toenails while you were asleep. I remember my friend's sister did that to me, and I just flew into a rage because, you're still trying to figure yourself out. And we have all these kind of like gender assignments and societal constraints and our own hormones all telling us different things. And then somebody paints your toenails, and it's enough to throw a hormonal young boy into an angry, murderous rage. Don't you think?
Okay, so you told us a history of last week, but what happened when you were a child?
But that kind of, putting ribbons in your hair, putting your hand in warm water and making you wet the bed.
I had a friend, and this is when I was starting to get into videography and stuff like that, and I had the video camera, and I was recording all sorts of weird stuff and kind of pranking him on camera and everything. And he'd get mad at me and be like, "Oh, yo, turn off the camera. You're recording me. I'm like, "No, I'm not recording you, see?" And I go and I turn the viewfinder over, and he's looking in there, and he says, "It says REC." I said, "Yeah, that means rewind the camcorder." He goes, "Oh, yeah, I guess that would be rewind the camcorder. But what would the E be?" And I had him convinced that REC meant rewind the camcorder.
Wow, he sounds like a genius.
He's the mayor currently.
Oh, wow.
No, he's not. I don't know. I don't know where he's at. He's probably in a ditch.
Yeah. Oh, boy. A lot of old friends are in ditches now. That could be a whole, that could be like a tell-all book, all my friends who are in ditches now.
Where to find the bodies.
I don't know. There's got to be where my ditch is at. I don't know. Something. My ditch is in my hose? Yeah. You need the hoe to make the ditch. So I don't know. It's interesting because I think like I never, my sense of humor doesn't often skew to the point of, like, I think a good practical joke is one where once they discover it's a joke, there's a certain amount of relief, and I think the person can also see the humor in the situation. Whereas I think if you just like embarrass them to the point of anger to where they just want to kill you, I don't know if that's really, I don't know if that really is something to strive for. And I feel like some people's sense of humor really runs in that direction. I see that a lot in families where they're constantly treating each other like crap.
Now, why you got to bring up my family in the podcast? I'm not sure. I know why you don't come around anymore.
I'm not going to name any names, but this is definitely making me think of a situation where we are helping a friend whose mother passed away. So the family goes to the house to clean up her effects. And our friend is in the bathroom, and the family members scare them when they're in the bathroom and start laughing hysterically. And I'm thinking to myself, you're going to like shout boo at someone whose mother just died and then make fun of them, And it's just like, I feel like it's very East Coast. I can't imagine something. I can't imagine pulling a joke on someone, like the day after their mother died, and then laughing hysterically like you're in a Simpsons cartoon, I just don't get that. Like, that is a dark sense of humor. Anyway, probably shouldn't have told that story. But we're talking about basically cruel tricks that we play on each other. We're going to play a cruel trick on you, and we will be back with more Sleepless Nights of Insomnia. Holy cats! Oh, man, you tore off my flower bed.
We will return to Here Comes Peter Cottontail after these messages.
Thanks, Easter Bunny. Thank you, Easter Bunny. Thank you, Easter Bunny. Thanks, Easter Bunny.
M&M's chocolate candies. The milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
Daddy, Bunny,
It's back. Big is back because bigger is better. 6000 SUX, an American tradition.
Oh, God, just you don't believe the mess that is happening over here. I just sent, Mittens Kong over to the other side of the house to look for non-denominational Easter eggs. She ripped out the flower bed. She, speaking of ditches, there is just a giant hole on the one entire side of the house. All the window boxes are torn down. All the shutters are torn off. That's not an Easter egg, Miss Mittens. That is a eggplant, okay? And now that you've, now that you've pulled them all out, we're going to have eggplant parmesan tonight for dinner. So I hope you're happy. Yeah, I know. Genocide for plants. Cannibalism and genocide for plants. Happy Easter. All right. All right, you do that, Miss Mittens. You go look over on the other side of the house and try not to make too much damage. You haven't found any of my Easter eggs yet. Paul and I were talking when we were so rudely interrupted. Paul and I were talking.
Oh, that's right. I'm in this episode, aren't I?
Yeah, more or less. We're talking about practical jokes, practical jokers, April Fools. Speaking of April Fools, oh my God, I'm getting a call here from William Winkler. Mm-hmm. I am not mentally prepared for that right now, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off.
Is he calling you about your car warranty as well?
Yes, he really is interested in my car warranty. Actually, we're putting out a DVD of Frankenstein versus the Creature from Blood Cove, and he also wants to do a show that he's written, and he also wants to take his movie on the road to drive-in movie theaters and do some live shows with me. All of those things sound wonderful. It's just that right now we're trying to do a podcast, and Mr. Lobo is already overburdened and overtasked and overcommitted. So sometimes I'm not always very immediately responsive to new projects. But
that reminds me of a prank that I just pulled like this past weekend, where this guy was like, he's really into himself and he's really into movies and everything, and he runs this this streaming service on like Saturdays or whatever, where they talk about movies and whatnot. So
like a watch party?
It's something like that. I don't know what the technical term to it or whatever. So I decided that I was going to play Animal Crossing during the exact same time. I interrupted this jackass's flow, and I brought everybody over from his channel and stuff. And boy, was he mad. And the thing was the joke was on all the people that came over, because for like half an hour there was like no audio, so they were just watching video with no audio. But I don't know who the username was like. Was like Too Ernie No Bert. I don't know. I don't get the reference, but I mean, that was probably the best practical joke that I've pulled in the last couple of days.
Yeah, that guy sounds like a jerk. Yeah, that almost sounds as bad as the guy who decided to do a Twitch stream at the same time I was doing my Twitch stream, when we're supposed to be doing projects together, and it probably would be a good idea to try to cross promote versus compete with each other.
Yeah. Well, that's the same person that made the bald sticker, their first sticker in the sticker club, and that's actually really awesome. I love that sticker, by the way.
I guess that's almost as bad as the person who put out the T-shirt for the solo act before the primary show.
That's almost as funny as the time when some jackass decided that they were going to do a podcast. How's that going?
Fantastic. Best ever. So how many times do you find that people want to play jokes on you, or are you the person who is always playing
I'm
jokes?
usually the one that's playing jokes on everybody else.
Yeah. Play jokes on your kids, right?
Yes.
I would think.
I mean, it all started at on my birth, and that was the biggest joke of it all. So
just by existing, you're playing.
just by
a joke
existing,
on
I'm the biggest joke on the universe. So.
Well, we're all paying
Silence.
for that joke. So tell me about some of the practical jokes that you've played, other than interrupting someone else's Twitch and taking their viewers away.
I don't know if anything can top that. That's pretty much that's the plateau. No, I used to work in a factory, and it was during that time when Scream was very popular. So I had the mask and the whole.
Yeah, the ghost face.
I had the ghost face mask and the real ghost face mask, because I remember during the time that they released all that stuff, and there was like 50 bajillion knockoff masks so that they could sell them. But I had like the legitimate one, and it had the I don't know, the clothing, the piece that goes over top of it, the shroud, I guess.
It's a hood, yeah, I guess, or shroud, sure.
And then, and then the plastic knives and whatever. And I brought that in to work with me, and had somebody take over my position so that I could go into the office of the manager, the guy that ran the entire plant, and just stand behind him. And he's on the phone and he's yakking away, and I come in the back door, and there's windows into the factory, so everybody can see into the guy's office. And he's got his back to me, so I come into the door, and I'm just standing there with the knife. Imagine that happening nowadays.
Oh, geez, no, I can't.
This was back then, just standing there with the knife, and he's talking on the phone. He doesn't know what's going on. All the factory workers are seeing it, and they're laughing and pointing and everything. And they're pointing, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. And he turns around, and I'm just standing there with the knife, and I'm like picking at my fingernails and stuff. And then I hightail it right out of the door.
Yeah.
And hours later, the guy's coming up, and he's like looking at my feet. I'm up there and I'm trying to work, and he's looking down at my feet, and he's like, you wouldn't know anything about a guy wearing a Scream mask when I'm running around with a knife and stuff. I'm like, no, what is this? What are you talking about? I don't know when did this happen? Oh, I just happened to be on the phone, and this guy with a Scream mask came in and stuff. Well, I hope you find him. Who was it? Who would have done such a thing? Well, I didn't get a good look at him. The only thing I saw was his boots, and he's like looking at my feet, looking at my boots and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going through the factory, and I'm trying to identify who it was. But he says, they got me, and they got me good. And it was fun. I mean, he was good humored about it and stuff. He never nailed me to it. Everybody else in the factory, I mean, I assume that he probably figured it out through proxy, because everybody else knew I had the damn thing, and everybody else knew, where everybody was on the floor. So
yeah,
there's only one jackass that's missing, but yeah, it was worth a few laughs.
Wow. Geez. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I'm trying to imagine today someone putting on a mask and scaring their boss with a knife.
With a plastic knife, with a rubber
knife. Plastic knife at work. It is different.
Different times.
Is it different times? I'm not sure. I mean, I guess we just are more certainly, more wary of things like that, I suppose. But I'm trying to think of, either getting scared real bad or scaring somebody real bad. I mean, I guess when you're a horror host, people scare you all the time. Mm-hmm. And they think that you're not going to get scared. I remember I did a tour of a haunted house, and everyone kept laughing at me because I was getting scared. And it's like, isn't that the point? This is I'm getting my money's worth,
But usually, like I end up like grabbing Dixie by the arm and squeezing her arm to the point of giving her a bruise on her arm because I'm grabbing her arm so hard because I'm getting so scared. But she doesn't get scared of anything except, well, if she does get scared, there's like the fight or flight syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Dixie's a fight. So if we go to like a haunted house and somebody who jumps out with a rubber chainsaw and tries to scare her, she'll just punch him.
Karate kick him right in the nuts.
Ow! Hey, lady! Break character.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, yeah. So you don't scare Dixie, because if you do actually scare her, I mean, there are things that do scare Dixie, like that are somewhat irrational, like. She's scared of sea cucumbers and dark water, and water she can't see the bottom of. She's irrationally scared of aliens, like gray type alien stuff, like fire in the sky,
mm-hmm.
communion kind of aliens, Jacob's Ladder kind of stuff. That stuff.
Todd
scares.
McFarlane alien toys that come in the X-Files with Mulder and Scully.
Exactly. That kind of stuff scares Dixie, which is somewhat irrational because I don't think she's seen real aliens, but maybe she has. That would explain a lot. She's been abducted by aliens. But, it is interesting that I think when I was in high school and stuff, I was always the butt of the jokes. I was always the person that people, like they put, strawberry bubble gum mm-hmm. inside of my desk. So, like chewed bubble gum, like in the rim of my desk, and then close it. And then like I remember opening up my desk and there's just being a stretched wall of bubble gum between me and my books, that were on the inside. And I do remember, the old gag where someone behind you gets on all fours and they push you,
right?
Over the person. And you sort of fall flat on your back.
I never do I don't like doing pranks that somebody could get hurt on, and I don't really care for those kind of. I would kind of do like cerebral pranks or something you could have a laugh at afterwards. I don't really like doing stuff where it causes harm or causes damage or whatever else.
Yeah, I mean, I never understood the thing where you like. Yeah, exactly. Like having a pail of water fall on somebody as they're coming through a doorway. Those kind of things. Or firecrackers. Did you ever scare people with firecrackers? No. Like throwing firecrackers behind somebody?
Around here, you can't really get firecrackers. Firecrackers.
Fryer wrappers?
Fryer wrappers. You can get a lot of fryer wrappers, but no firecrackers.
I love the fry wrappers.
Back during that time, you couldn't get firecrackers.
Yeah. Oh! Out here, you can't get firecrackers.
More recently, you can now, but back then you couldn't. You had to go across state lines.
Yeah, because I think in California, well, when I was a kid, you could, and people seem to get them anyway. Like bottle rockets and stuff were illegal. People always had them.
I had friends that had those, but they had to go across state lines. You couldn't buy in Pennsylvania.
What's amazing out here now is that I feel like there's 20 of them in Pennsylvania, but they're these like gigantic, like big box store size warehouses. Full of fireworks somehow. And it's like that blows my mind because in California, it's always like they have these wee little funny little wooden stands that would just set up in a parking lot, with chicken wire and dumb cardboard signs. And then you go in there and almost like the ice cream man, I'll take a number 33, whatever, Satan's colostomy bag. And, I'll take this, whatever.
What does the Satan's colostomy bag do? I don't think I want to set fire to that. Like that thing's burning. It's like, why does it smell like shit? It gets worse. It's Satan's colostomy bag. Oh, no.
Yeah, and then I'll take 6 of the knuckle spreaders. And yeah. Oh, and then of course the oh my God, my eyes. Yeah, I'll take one of those. So you buy. You know, it is like kind of like going to the ice cream man, and like here out in Pennsylvania, they've got these gigantic like warehouses, and like what kind of, I've never gone inside of them, but I've always been intrigued. I mean, because I keep thinking like this is like a cartoonish, like this is like something that happens like in a Naked Gun movie where, you know,
there's nothing to see here. There's nothing to see. Move along.
Oh, exactly. You know, like as the car crashes into it, and the whole freaking block explodes in a wash of a trillion colors. Oh my God! Speaking of the whole neighborhood exploding, I think Miss Mittens just blew up the corner of our house. We're gonna have to go to a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Mr. Lobo, I'm trying to buy a Mummy and the Monkey T-shirt for Miss Mittens, and I'm having trouble with getting on the OSI 74 shop.
Well, first thing, Paul, you're staring at a blank page. We don't have our store Etsy or ePay shops anymore. We have a Square site now.
Well, that's good because my monitor's square. Actually, it's more like a rectangle. Will it work on rectangles?
Secondly, we don't have the Mummy and the Monkey shirts on our site, okay? They have their own stuff. The OSI 74 shop is where you're going to find all our official in-house Outer Space International merchandise. The OSI 74 astronaut t-shirts, stickers, patches, posters, autographed Cinema Insomnia DVDs, and all our CI stuff like Mr. Lobo's coloring book and the Monster Match card game. I mean, you can even get a glow-in-the-dark Mr. Lobo shirt.
Huh. And what about stuff from the other OSI 74 shows?
Well, the OSI 74 Square site is also a hub to jump off to other shows and on-demand items for many of the weird, retro, and fun programs on our OSI 74 Roku channel. But if you're looking to buy a gift, I mean, why don't you keep it in the family and get a glow-in-the-dark Miss Mittens t-shirt for the Mummy and the Monkey?
I hate to be the one to break it to you, but they don't really watch your show. But I'll take a 62 triple extra large shirt. Can I get the producer's discount on that?
Don't be like Paul. Visit our shop at osi74.square.site.
How could you do that, Miss Mittens? I mean, you know that's a propane barbecue. I mean, that thing was leaning up against our house for months on end, and it was fine. And now we got a giant hole in the side of our house. Sorry, it doesn't beat the bulldog, you know. You know what? The eggplants do smell delicious. All right. We'll plate them up and we'll have them after the podcast. I know Paul was going to tell us a story about fireworks, right, Paul? You had more to say?
Yeah, sorry, there was a little bit of, you had a little bit of a fire out there, and I had a little bit of a fire here in the pod. I had to put it out. That was coincidental. I mean, it was just kind of ironic that ran parallel.
How does a pantsless producer put out a fire?
Without his pants on.
Fair enough. I was just going to say, why does a fireman wear suspenders?
I don't know. Never heard that one. Why?
To hold up his pants. It was just another pants thing. It was just along with the whole fire pants situation. But go ahead and tell your story. That's all right.
Wait, I don't get this. Pants.
No, I know. You don't get pants humor because you can't relate to it.
You clip the suspenders to the underwear? Is that how it works?
Don't worry about it. So tell me your story about fireworks.
No, because now I'm going to be up all night thinking about this. I've already got a headache. But, yeah, when I used to be in Scouts, to hold up his pants?
Don't worry about it.
So when I was in Scouts, we used to have fireworks. We used to do a lot of things that we shouldn't be doing as Scouts. But one of the things was that they would get bottle rockets, they would get the M80s, they would get all the different firecrackers, and they would get Roman candles. And we used to go out camping, and we'd go out and fire off the Roman candles. And like idiot moron teenagers that we were, we would sit there and fire the Roman candles off at each other. We'd sit there shooting balls of flame at each other, and it's like, I remember my one friend's like, hit me, hit me, hit me. We're all like firing the damn thing at him. Doing all sorts of stuff. I know that like one of them was he brought his model rocket kit.
Yeah.
And, I used to hang out with the guy that was labeled the Pyromaniac.
Oh, boy. Yeah, there's always one of those.
And he would steal all the, what do they call the rods that ignite the...
punks or
no, they're not punks. They light the they're actually for the rockets. I think they're just called engines or whatever.
Oh, okay.
They just have their
not sparklers, not anything like that.
No, it's just basically gunpowder that's all in there. So you put them up underneath the rocket. When you fire the rocket, that's what fuels the rocket to go up.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So he took some pride in like doing these rockets, and he was going to show it off and everything. And of course, I'm hanging out with the Pyromaniac, who's stealing these engines and cutting them open and getting all the gunpowder out and putting them in a big wad of duct tape, and just as many of these engines as this guy was willing to give up, because he's kind of crying because it's like, well, this is one less time that we could be sending up the rockets because we're just cutting these up there. So he gets in this big ball, and then we're outside. I'm outside. It's just me and him, and we're outside, and he's trying to light it. And he's like, we're going to make this thing. It's going to be a big boom. He's like, holding this goddamn thing in his hand with a lighter and lighting it. Oh, God. And we're both like, this is going to be cool because we're dumb, stupid teenagers. Yeah. And it's like, it's not lighting. And I'm just like, it's not going to light. It's not going to light and stuff. And finally, it's like, right around when he's about to give up, the thing goes, whoo! It's just this big flash of light.
Yeah.
And we were blind for like a couple minutes afterwards. I apologize if my mom's listening to this episode. Sorry, Mom.
You're going to be grounded for 2 weeks now.
She has to find me first. But yeah, we couldn't see. I think he lost some of his eyebrows because this was just big, huge fireball in his thing. And he just got the Scoutmaster's like, you should have known better.
That's it. Just tisk.
Yeah, just tisk.
It's so funny how your eyebrows get burned off. Like, you think that that's something that doesn't happen in real life. But that happened to my friend Scott Moon. We used to have these legendary 4th of July parties where everyone would get all their fireworks in the middle of the street. And then we would project 16 millimeter movies on his garage. And so there'd be all these like sci-fi movies, old commercials, and weird cinema insomnia kind of stuff, honestly, stuff playing on the garage. And then we would have a big fireworks display in the street with everyone, the whole neighborhood just put all their fireworks together. And for whatever reason, Scott had this idea, like obviously watched too many like Wile E. Coyote, Yosemite Sam freaking cartoons, but he just took a line of gunpowder and he had this line of gunpowder that just went all the way to this pile of fireworks. And what he's thinking is he's going to light one end of the line of gunpowder, and it's going to go Mission Impossible style. Boom, right? Dun, 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 dun. And like a fuse. No. The second the match hit that gunpowder, this wall of fire just flashes. His eyebrows catch on fire. He had no eyebrows for years because of that, and it's just like, he just thought it would work like in the cartoons. And I guess that's a good argument for why some of those cartoons aren't shown anymore. And not because the cartoons are dangerous. It's just because people are stupid.
Right. And I don't know why we didn't save this for our 4th of July special. But, glad we rolled this out for Easter.
We report. Yeah. Well, we repeat ourselves anyway. So
we'll probably forget by that time and re-say it. So by the time we'll send Miss Mittens out for eggs.
Yeah. Well, we'll send her out for eggs on 4th of July. Deviled eggs. She's going out for some picnic deviled eggs on 4th of July, and we have the same damn conversation about fireworks. I can see it now. But it is interesting the kind of humor people and I don't know why I think it's I guess it's not just East Coast. I guess it's kind of like working class, like, salt of the earth kind of people, that it's just like the most basic kind of joke is someone getting hurt or something blowing up. I mean, I'm trying, and I guess maybe a harder lifestyle, like if you work hard and, maybe you lived through a world war or two, you've just got a different kind of perspective on things, and every day you're alive is worth laughing about. But, you watch those old cartoons and like Three Stooges and stuff like that. It's just people getting hit in the face with a 2x4. Or the thing that I always think about is the hot foot, like where it's supposed to be a joke, but it's like you just stick a match in between someone's toes or in the bottom of their shoe. And then you light the match, and then at some point the match burns all the way down and then sets their shoe on fire or sets their toe on fire. I mean, I've never seen that. Speaking of practical jokes, I've never seen that practically. Have you ever known anyone to get a hot foot? No, just in the cartoons, right?
I just know people that would attempt that kind of stuff. They may or may not be wanted by the law.
Yeah, they're in there, they're in that ditch.
They're in that ditch.
In the ditch somewhere. Yeah. Friends who are in ditches now. The miniseries. It is interesting. Like I think of that. I think of I'm trying to think of setting a bag of poop on fire on someone's on doorstep. Have you ever done that? No.
Well, that falls in the line of like damaging stuff, and I would never.
Yeah.
Personally, I wouldn't do something like that.
Like, I mean, like freezing someone's underwear.
I think at most, like something for me to do is like corning. When Halloween, so trick or treating and stuff like that. So you go out and you throw corn at people's houses.
Corning? Corning is a thing?
Yes. Throw corns, you throw eggs, or
Who
you
throws
throw
corn?
toilet paper.
I have never heard of throwing corn in my entire life.
Well, I got some advice for you. You open the can first. Don't throw the entire can because you get in trouble. No, it's
just smashes right through the window.
It's like it's the Indian corn that's out here. I don't know if you had it out in California. The Indian corn that they usually put up for displays on the doors and stuff. It's corn that gets hard. So you just bring that off of the corn cobs, and you got corn that you can just throw at houses, and it's just ping, 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 and it's not damaging. I mean, it's just little. Pieces of corn.
So you're taking it off the corn, so you're not throwing a whole cob.
No, you're not throwing a whole cob, nor are you throwing canned cream corn, that I was alluding to earlier.
Give them the old Del Monte treatment.
It's you use like the Indian harvest corn.
And you throwing handfuls of hard corn?
Yep, at houses or at people's like cars.
I have never ever heard of such a thing. Corning.
Mm-hmm.
Corn. You're getting.
I'm sure corning means something different in the internet age. So I'm not 100%. I don't want to look it up right now.
Yeah, if my kid came home and said someone corned him on Halloween, I'd be really mad. I'd be really upset. Probably call the police.
What have you learned from this?
I don't know. It's a harsh, cruel, horrible world.
I don't know if I've ever thrown toilet paper. I don't think I've ever TP'd any houses or trees.
I think I did TP a tree once. And I think it was someone else's TP. Like the tree was already TP'd, and then there was a roll that had fallen down somewhere, and I just kind of got a little yarn to go. You know what? I'll throw this one up in the tree, see what it feels like.
You felt bad for that squirrel with runny stools, didn't you?
Yeah, squirrels with runny stools. That's why we're throwing toilet paper up in the trees. Oh boy, that's a classic Mr. Lobo Does reference. Mm-hmm. Which you can get on DVD, Blu-ray, and download. Right? We can plug that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Hashtag sponsored, I guess.
Sponsored. Yes. Go to the osi74.square.site shop and get that Blu-ray of Mr. Lobo Does.
And throw it at your neighbors.
Yes. I think actually, I wouldn't say there's practical jokes in Mr. Lobo Does, but there are a lot of really dumb things happen to Mr. Lobo in those films.
Sure.
You know, I take a lot of abuse.
Yes. I think you dish out quite a bit of abuse too.
I dish out some, but I feel like, at least like on Cinema Insomnia, I try to have things happen to me. You know, I'd rather throw myself under the bus than maybe hurt somebody for real or hurt someone's feelings for real.
So we always kind of take the jokes eternally.
Yeah.
I always kind of did that, like when we would do like college projects and everything. Like if there's something written in the script that somebody has to like fall down the stairs or whatever, I was always the one that would like kind of throw myself down the stairs because I didn't want to hurt anybody else.
Yeah.
So like, oh, I'd do this one. I take one for the team just for the thing. Just make sure the damn thing's in focus, you know?
Yeah, it's right. Make sure you get the thing. I mean, how many times did I throw myself at the floor when we were doing the Comic-Con, Mr. Lobo Does Comic-Con episode?
Mr. Lobo Does Comic-Con. Hold on.
Williamsport.
Fast forwarding. I think like maybe like 4 times because like I think we did one that was like for like testing or whatever. It's like, yeah, don't even throw yourself a reel, and you kind of like went for it anyway.
Yeah.
But I think we did it for like 4 times.
Four times throwing myself at the concrete.
But the memory might not be mine, so I don't know.
It might not be yours.
Yeah.
The memory might not be yours. That's a strange thing to say. Hey, my neighbor ladies just screamed. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna run out the door right now and see what's going on here. Hey, Mittens Kong, what are you doing?
The Sunday Morning Funnies will return in just a moment.
Red alert. Red alert. Red alert.
You crossed my line of death.
You haven't dismantled your MX stockpile.
Pakistan is threatening my border.
That's it, Buster. No more military aid.
Nuke 'em. Get them before they get you. Another quality home game from Butler Brothers.
Easter's coming, bringing a treat. A Cadbury favorite, something you eat. Cadbury's Easter cream eggs.
Nothing else tastes anything like them. Cadbury's milk chocolate makes up the shell, rich cream of vanilla, and the most delicious golden candy yolk any egg ever had.
They're in the stores now, but they won't be long. Just until Easter, then they'll be gone. Cadbury's Easter cream eggs.
Ooh. You can get them wherever you buy candy bars, but just until Easter.
The Bugs Bunny Easter Special has that lovable rabbit looking for a substitute Easter bunny.
What's up, Doc?
And Daffy Duck really wants the job.
An Easter duck.
Wednesday.
Mittens Kong, what are you doing? Yeah, I said eggs, but these are my non-denominational Easter eggs, and you would be able to tell that because they would be lovingly hand-dyed and decorated by Mr. Lobo in bright colors. These are just white eggs from the grocery store that you stole out of the neighbor's refrigerator. That's why Mrs. Anderson is screaming her head off. I mean, these are all together in a dozen or almost a dozen. There are 3 missing. But yeah, why don't you go and put these ones back, and maybe I'll give you another hint here. I mean, half the house is torn down anyway, so there shouldn't be much more places that you can look. But why don't you go ahead and give those back to Mrs. Anderson and apologize. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Anderson. Sorry, Mrs. Anderson. I'll make it up to you, I promise. Oh boy. All right, Paul. Got a little family business over here. Sorry to break up the podcast.
That sounded like murder. It was like murder on my roof or something.
Yeah, it's on your roof.
Yeah, I mean it was so loud it just kind of came through my speakers and everything, and it shuttered my space pod. I mean, so it was kind of like on my roof.
Wait a second now. Wait a second.
That was longer than a second. I'm still waiting.
I'm putting this together now, and
what about the suspenders wearing the pant that are holding up the pants of the firemen? I still don't get it either. I mean, I've been working on that for a while now.
No. It's not the joke about the firemen's.
You're working on something different. You're still working on the car warranty,
and it's not the where does the general keep his armies up his sleeveys. It's not that joke either. I am starting to notice something here. I mean, where Miss Mittens has torn away part of the floor, I am spying a little bit of the top of a sickly, balding, pantsless decoy who is talking into a microphone.
Ignore the guy behind the curtain. Ignore the man behind. Ignore him.
This is not a great and powerful Oz situation. This isn't even a Wizard of Id situation. This is a dumb shit under my porch situation.
You caught me. What can I say?
I cannot believe this.
I can't believe it lasted an entire episode.
I was trying to talk to Paul in outer space. I should have known when you were talking about your car insurance or whatever the hell it was at the beginning that I didn't have a contact with Paul in outer space. Was Abacus in on this too?
Working. Abacus responding. Got you. Working. Abacus responding.
Gosh darn it, Abacus. I cannot not only get my whole damn house torn apart, that like Abacus and Paul's decoy have conspired to pull the wool over my eyes for April Easter Fools.
Told you.
Oh man. Well, at least you didn't like set my toes on fire. I can be happy for that, I guess.
Look down.
Ow! Ah, Jesus! Ow! Oh, jeez.
That one right up your leg. That cut. I was surprised. That was a barn burner.
That's not funny.
Here, wait.
Okay.
You want to see something else? Here, catch some corn.
Just threw corn up through the floor into my eye.
Yeah, it's a nice wet corn too. It's the creamed corn stuff. So enjoy that.
Damn it!
Sucker!
Yes. I am surrounded by complete freaking morons. It's just like I'm trying to hold this thing together. I got Miss Mittens tearing apart my house. I've got you over here pretending to be the other Paul from outer space. I don't even know where Paul, the real Paul, is. And then, I got a computer here that's enabling your jackassery. I mean, what were we even talking about before? I mean, is there even any point in continuing the podcast?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Why don't you go watch Groundhog Day for Easter or some other? Actually, you're not the one who watches Groundhog Day. That's the other idiot in my life. Hey, Miss Mittens, that is a major support for the roof, Miss Mittens, okay? No, don't grab that stairwell either. How are we supposed to go upstairs if you're going to bring the whole second floor down on top of it? Miss Mittens, that is not an egg. Put that down. Put that down right now.
You have been listening to the Sleepless Knights podcast, or should we say, pODDcast. Emphasis on the odd. Our theme is by Mars Homeworld at Deadhouse Music. Our opening announcement is by Ophelia Necro. She does a radio show called Suicide Watch. And you could reach Mr. Lobo at cinemainsomnia.com. or find me on YouTube, YouTube/Mr. Lobo, MisterLobo. Mr. Lobo on Facebook, Facebook/mr.lobo, or on Twitter, @Mr. Lobo, MisterLobo.
Or you can find myself, Paul Sanders, or better known as BESTOW TV, at BESTOW.tv, on YouTube/BESTOW TV, on Twitter @BESTOWProd, PROD, and on Facebook, BESTOW TV.
If you want to place an advertisement with this podcast, and gosh, why wouldn't you? We could be talking about you right now. Contact us, Mr. Lobo at cinemainsomnia.com. That's MRLOBO@CINEMAINSOMNIA.com. Or support us on Patreon. Patreon supporters get to hear this podcast before anyone else and a lot of other great stuff, right, Paul?
Sure.
Doesn't get it better than that, right? So come join the fun at
patreon.com/Sleepless Nights Podcast.
That's
patreon.com/Sleepless Nights Podcast.
Please stay up with us next week for another Sleepless Nights podcast. Or should we say, pODDcast.
Podcast.
The best thing about being an insomniac is never having to say goodnight.
Good night.